Good afternoon, everyone. This is Matt here in Lakeland, Florida. The 2005 Ducati Superbike that I have up for sale on eBay. I'm going to take a walk around it, show you the ins and outs, give you a little story behind it, and let you know exactly what you're getting into here. I've always been a little skeptical of buying things online, so the more information you have, the better that you'll feel. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Turn it on. Adjust the choke a little bit right here. Typical Ducatis. Sometimes it's a little temperamental. Sometimes it doesn't want to start immediately, but from what I understand, that's pretty typical, but it's never left me stranded, not ever once. 6644 miles. It runs absolutely beautifully. I'm going to go ahead and rev it. Okay, so as I mentioned in the auction, I bought this bike from a collector about 2 years ago. I was very skeptical. This is my first sport bike. I was very skeptical about buying a used sport bike just because of the awful condition that almost all of them are in. So I found this from a collector. You know, truth be told, this is far too much bike for me, but the condition kind of sold itself. And I didn't want somebody else's problems. I didn't want something that had been prepared properly or cheaply modified or not cared for, or even worse, you know, wrecked and dropped and all the fairings have been replaced. So this one really stood out to me as being one of the most exceptional Ducatis in this age range that I think you'll find anywhere in the country, and that absolutely still holds true. So there have been a few modifications done to the bike. All of the bodywork and fairings are not one of them. They are all original. The paint is impeccable. It's excellent. I mean, if I get up close here, there's not even any rock chips or flakes. There's one little chip over here that I want to show you right here. That is the only chip on the entire bike. But otherwise, the paint still shows incredibly well. It shows like a 1 or 2 year old motorcycle. I get stopped all the time, and people are dumbfounded when they figure out that this is a 2005. And it's as clean as it is. So all right, so we'll start at the front. We've got some upgraded CRG levers here that are the breakaway type. The previous owner had an entire Öhlins suspension upgrade done at Superbike Racing in Tennessee. So the front shocks and the rear shock are all Öhlins. The brake rotors have been upgraded to a high-performance brake rotor. Of course, the pads and everything like that have all been upgraded as well. Brembo calipers. It does have the Marchesini lightweight forged wheels on it. Tires are in excellent shape. Front fender, again, no chips, no scratches, nothing. Absolutely impeccable. Over here on this side, again, the wheels are all good. There's not even any chips in the wheels. A little dusty from sitting in the garage, but everything works. Everything's here. There's, you know what? The brake reservoir, there's a little bit of paint that chipped back a little bit, right? I just want to show everything. I want to disclose everything. The forks and everything are in great shape. The seat, both seats, absolutely perfect shape. Does have a Termignoni carbon fiber exhaust upgrade. The rear fender, carbon fiber, the lightweight replacement. Of course, the lightweight forged Marchesini wheels on the rear. It has been tuned. It does have a power commander and has been tuned on the dyno. The dyno sheets come with the bike, and it produced 135 horsepower, which roughly translated, you know, considering a 15% drivetrain loss, we're looking at about $160 or 160 horsepower. And you know, considering some of the lightweight modifications that have been done to it, it's probably right at about 400 pounds. It is brutal, absolutely brutal, even by today's standards. This is an absolutely incredible bike. So let's get back down in here. You can see again the Öhlins upgrade suspension for the rear. All the maintenance has been done. Everything's lubricated. Everything's running perfectly. Right, battery tender hookup right there. Of course, everything's clean. Let me get real close up on the paint. It's beautiful. It's absolutely impeccable. There's not a scratch or a nick or really anything at all, except that one in the tank, of course, that I pointed out earlier. But otherwise, it is impeccable, absolutely impeccable condition. It's kind of a shame. As I mentioned in the auction, my family and I are moving to Europe, and I'm retired Air Force, did 20 years, and I've been working in the civilian world for about 4.5 years, and the government has asked me to come back to work in a civilian capacity. I was offered a GS-13 position in Belgium. And as per government regulations, we are only allowed to take one vehicle per licensed driver. So I'm going to take my car. My wife is going to take her car. The Cadillac has actually already been sold. The shippers are going to be coming this weekend to pick that up. My daughter helped me build this cafe racer, so I'm actually shipping it up to her in St. Louis. I'm going to give it to her. And the only thing I'm taking with me is this guy over here. I think in Europe this is going to see the most usage. I'm looking forward to doing some long road trips in Europe, and obviously this is considerably better equipped than this for long road trips. So I don't ride this bike a whole lot. I do love riding it. It's incredibly fun, but it's not a long distance bike, and I'm just afraid it's not going to get a whole lot of usage in Europe, and plus the money that it's going to cost me to get it there. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. So we are leaving in a little bit over a month, and I mentioned that in the auction as well. If you want the bike, I certainly welcome you to bid on it. It'll be up for auction for 10 days. If you happen to be near the Lakeland, Florida area, you are more than welcome to come take a look at it. I encourage that you do. Pre-purchase inspections, if you want to pay somebody to come look at it, absolutely. By all means, anything that I can do to help out, but I am on a considerable time frame. That is why I have listed this bike incredibly low with no reserve. I don't have time to relist it. I don't have time to play around and wait for the right buyer to come and offer me the $7 or $8 grand that it's worth, quite frankly. I have to sell it. I have to get rid of it, and I'm on a time crunch. So if this is something you're interested in, you would be extremely hard pressed to find another bike, you know, this year range in this kind of quality that's been as well cared for as this one has. It really is a beautiful adult owned, you know, never raced, never abused, never dropped, never even scratched motorcycle. So again, please feel free to ask any questions that you can. If you need more pictures, if you need more information or anything like that, please don't hesitate to ask. I will help out as much as I can, and I look forward to doing business with you in the future. Thanks, folks. Bye.